Now just take a look at this. Now believe it or not, all these designs were piped using the holy grail of piping tips called the 1M piping tip. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the infinite number of ways that you can pipe using just this one piping tip. Let's do this. So let's start off by filling our piping bag. So before you do this, you want to make sure the frosting that you're filling your piping bag with is super smooth. I like to hand mix mine like this before I fill my piping bag. Today I'm going for a two-tone effect, so I've got some white buttercream and some pink. Now to fill my piping bag, I'm placing my piping tip in and pushing it to the bottom. And then I'm just pushing it back slightly and cutting off the tip of my piping bag. This just helps to make sure you're not cutting off too much of your piping bag. Now to fill my piping bag with buttercream, I'm turning out the top of the piping bag and placing it in my hand. If you're not using a two-tone effect, there is an easier way to do this, which I demonstrate in my beginner's piping tutorial, which I'll post a link to below. So I'm starting off by covering the outer edges of the piping bag with pink buttercream until it's well covered. And then I'm filling the middle with white buttercream and pushing that down with my spatula. Now to finish, I'm twisting the top of my piping bag so my buttercream doesn't come out the other way, and then squeezing the buttercream through until the two-tone effect starts to appear. Now let's start piping. So the first design I'm going to show you is a really easy one, and all you do is hold your piping bag so the tip is facing downwards and simply apply a little pressure and pull upwards, and you get this cute little star flower, and continue to pipe this way until the top is completely covered. Next is a really similar design, except you're going to apply a little less pressure and pull away quicker so that the little star flower is smaller. And you're going to pipe at a slight angle around the edges of the cupcake, and then continue to pipe inwards until your cupcake is completely covered, and you end up with this really cute ruffled flower look. For the next design, you're going to apply some pressure while keeping your tip in the middle of the cupcake, and then quickly move your hand up and down as you slowly lift your piping bag, and this gives you a cute ruffle with a tip. Next is a classic cupcake swirl. So you want to start in the middle and make a circular shape until the bottom of the cupcake is covered, then slowly bring your piping bag up and make smaller circles as you reach the top of the swirl. Next is similar to a cupcake swirl, except you're going to start on the outside and apply a bit more pressure as you slowly move your piping bag around the cupcake. And then once you've come back to the beginning, start piping on top of the buttercream you've already piped, but now you're going to make smaller circles as you reach the tip of your swirl. This gives more of a ruffle look to your cupcake. Next is a simple rosette. So the easiest way to pipe a rosette is to follow the shape of a lowercase e. So to do this, you want to start in the middle, go a little to the right, and then go around and flick away at the end. Now you can also pipe smaller rosettes, so here I'm piping 3 little rosettes on the top of my cupcake. Now next I'm making a similar design to the ruffled cupcake swirl that we did earlier, except I'm going to stop piping once the cupcake is covered, so it's more of a flatter design. For this next design, I'm piping little shells on the top of my cupcake, so all you do is hold your piping tip at a slight angle, and as you apply some pressure, kind of swing your piping tip slightly and then bring it back and flick away. Next I'm doing a simple zigzag design, so start on one side of the cupcake and simply go back and forth until it's fully covered. Next I'm piping a double zigzag, so one zigzag is covering half of my cupcake and then the other zigzag the other half of the cupcake. Now you can also combine different designs together, so for this cupcake I'm piping 3 mini rosettes and then little star flowers around them. For this next design, I've also combined 2 techniques, so I'm starting off by piping little star flowers around the outside of the cupcake, and then I'm filling the middle with a high ruffle using that quick up and down technique. Now for this next design, I'm piping little flowers again around the outside of the cupcake, and this time I'm filling in the middle with a swirl. I'm kind of just making up these designs as I go to show you guys just how many different ways you can pipe with this tip, so just get creative. This next design is a really cute one, and it's basically just overlapping little rosettes. Now you can also see here that I'm holding my cupcake as I pipe. Now I find piping on cupcakes a lot easier this way, but it is harder if you've got a lot of buttercream in your piping bag. So by this point I had used up a lot of my buttercream, so it was much easier to hold my piping bag with one hand. But as you practice, you'll figure out what works best for you. Now with this last design, I'm piping 2 mini rosettes on half of my cupcake, and then the other half has shells on them. And this is probably one of my favorite combos. So there you go. Next time you need to decorate some cupcakes and you have no idea what to do, go grab yourself a 1M piping tip. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. Apart from that, I'll see you in the next one.